Yo, we're here again. You've been doing this for some time. You have probably recognized that this is a tough task. It's no easy thing to do. So now you have to deal with the rejection. How do you maintain your momentum of learning this skill set when, especially if you're first starting out, a lot of what happens is people just ignore you, turn you down immediately, or turn you down afterwards, Maybe it's cool in the beginning, but you connect and then never hear from them again. Another page, another couple lessons. The main theme for this: stop, drop, roll. First thing you need to do is stop and reorient yourself. You need to remember why you are valuable. This is important because it will reorient your energy on the approach. You will be approaching them with a full cup because he that hath, more shall be given. So for myself, I used a little index card and I created a list of why I'm valuable as a friend. I don't know how many points there are, but it's most of the card. You ought to do that so that you can be aware of what your value is. Your card may be really short. I've worked hard to have this list, and yours may be short. So let that be a call to action. Let that be a reminder to you that, hey, you've got things to work on. But it's okay. At any point, whatever is on your card, that's also okay. However long or short it is, you've got work to do. I've got work to do. But it's going to help you remember that, hey, I'm offering value. As I approach this person, I'm not taking from them. It's not parasitic. It's not one-sided. Like, I'm valuable as a friend. It will be worthwhile for them to know me, and not in an arrogant way, just in a, higher self-esteem. Looking at the last point here, you also want to stop and check your own intention. Why are you actually approaching this person? Because when I first started this interaction game, which was now 7-8 years ago, I just wanted a girlfriend. Like, that was it. And so every girl I went up to was with that intention. And I was getting rejected, 9.5 times out of 10. That's just what happened. And so it was almost as if I was getting rejected for that reason, not so much for being me. And now when I approach, I want people to be my friend, but I'm much more open in what I'm looking for. I actually don't even feel like I have a goal in mind. It's just like, I want a good interaction. I don't necessarily want an outcome beyond that. And the point I'm trying to make is how you approach people will determine how they receive you. So if you go up to somebody looking for a romantic relationship, you may be rejected in looking for that romantic relationship. But if you would have approached that person looking for a friendship, you may not get rejected. If you approach that person again, as I am loose, where it's just like, I want to have a good conversation, chances are you won't get rejected because that energy is so open, there's no pressure at all. So you need to stop and remember your own value, what you have. That's going to propel you forward energetically. And it's going to allow people to really see you for what you're worth. Because when you walk up confident, people have some sort of understanding that there's something backing that up. And 2, understand your intention of the approach. Because if you're always approaching with unclear or wrong intentions, and it's not wrong to want those things, but wrong that every interaction would be that way, then you can get lost in that sauce. And hopefully this exposure is good. The sun's going in and out here. We'll see. So that all allows you to drop, which is the second step. Dropping is letting go of the rejection as soon as possible. Emotions and feelings can be sticky, and so it can be difficult to do that the longer you hold on to it. Imagine, like, you get rejected. The longer you hold on to that feeling of rejection, the harder it will be to let go. But if you immediately just let go, move on, and don't even consider it as a rejection, you're just like, next. Not an uncaring, cold, calloused person, but just recognizing that I'm doing reps, it's okay. You're good. I don't need you to like me. I'm not everyone's cup of tea anyways. You're just one of those people that aren't a fit for me. Maybe even not a fit for me right now. There have been times where I mentioned this last video, but I talked to people who were closed and then became open. There were people I talked to, noticed myself kind of closed, but became open. It's just circumstance. You may not be a good fit for that person that day. So don't take it too personal. It does hurt my feelings, but I don't take it personal. So you need to let go of it ASAP. Eventually, those rejections are going to mean less and less. And at a certain point, like nothing to you, because you'll have gone through so many. There's this idea of rejection therapy, where that humility that you have to take on is actually extremely worthwhile. And then when you do become hardened, not like, again, cold or just uncaring, but like hardened to those instances, then they just fall off of you. You're like hydrophobic, a duck. Water just falls off a duck's back. And you want to get to that point, but you have to get to that point through the rejection. And if you allow the stickiness of the rejection to stick with you, then it slows your momentum. You get caught up. It changes your mindset for the whole thing, and you end up reinforcing this loop where you get rejected, you feel bad about getting rejected, and then you get rejected again because you were feeling bad. And when you approach the person, they can sense that like, something's off, not into them. So you don't want that. You want to review your value. So in the beginning, when you stop and check your value, you are kind of putting up armor in a sense. It's like if you've ever played video games, you can take a hit and it doesn't affect your main health. When you check your value, you put up a certain armor. And so that way, if you do get rejected, it's like, okay, it's easier to roll off. But you want to review that value immediately. You want to go back and recheck that box, because imagine you've put it in with pencil. Before you go up on the approach, you're like, okay, I'm cool, I'm fun, I'm funny, I'm knowledgeable about certain things, I can share that knowledge, I'm spontaneous, I'm open-minded, I'm non-judgmental, whatever the things are for you. You've checked this box with pencil. You're like, okay, I'm ready, I'm worthwhile. When you get rejected, it's almost as if that other person grabs an eraser and kind of gets rid of it. So you need to immediately recheck the box. You have to remind yourself, no, they're not rejecting me because I suck. They're rejecting me because it's not a good fit. I'm awesome. I'm cool. I'm worthwhile to know. And then you want to breathe into your balls. Breathe into the lowest parts of you, actually the balls of your feet and your testicles. You need to be getting your breath down. Why? Because your sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight response. And when you get rejected, you're basically feeling as if you've been kicked out of the tribe. Back in the day, when we were tribal, being rejected was a huge deal because that could mean life-altering consequences. Now, our primal brain still associates the rejection that way, but it's not as serious, but we feel as if it is. So you have to breathe deeply to re-engage your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. In the sympathetic, it's all of the fight or flight hormones. So it's cortisol, adrenaline, whereas parasympathetic, engaged by deep breathing, is all the soothing chemicals that your body can create. And you just want to bring everything back down, because you approach mellow, somebody rejects you, and it's like, ooh, spike, emotional spike. Level it back, get grounded again, center yourself. And then the last thing on that point is take the lesson. So you review your value just to recheck the box. You breathe deeply to level everything out, and then you look at the lesson. Why didn't it work out? Did I have a weird intention when I approached? Like, was I just trying to hit on her and that wasn't the best way to do things? Was I making jokes in an inappropriate way or at an inappropriate time, on a touchy subject? Did I not suss out their own tolerance of what we were conversing about? Maybe I engaged in something that was sensitive to them. Whatever it is, you have to find the lesson. Did I approach too high energy, too low energy? Was I too quiet in my voice? Was I loud enough? Was I stifled? Was I closed off? Were they closed off? Was the way I approached just weird? Like, in general, I don't even think I said this last video, approach people head on. Never approach people from behind. Sometimes the side can work, but people need to be able to see you so that they can determine you're not a threat. You should be smiling. You should be just positive energetically so that people can see this person is coming to me. I can kind of prep for it. Okay, let's do this. But if you approach from behind, especially if you're approaching a girl, it throws them off immediately and it's just weird to them. And I get it. If somebody did that to me, it's not the same, but I understand. So don't do that. And then next, move on. Next rep. You've got to go into that next rep. And I know anybody could be watching this video. I don't mean to dismiss experiences you've had, but if you're a girl, just move. Like you almost don't even have to listen to all this. You can just go to the next person because you are so much less likely to get rejected. For a girl, if you don't have social skills, you can develop this so much faster than a guy because your time between reps, it doesn't have to exist at all. You can just go to the next person immediately and you're almost guaranteed to have at least a positive initial reaction. But for a guy, by reviewing your value, breathing deeply, and finding the lesson, that will help you shorten the time between interactions. That's the main determinant of whether or not you're going to develop this skill set, is your time between interactions. The whole point of this video is to help you overcome the slowing that happens in your momentum when you do get rejected, because it's going to happen. And I'm guessing if you're new to this, it's going to happen a lot. So I just want to reassure you, it will happen. And it's not that big of a deal. Here's how to handle it. Stop, drop, roll. Roll with the punches. That's the last point. You need to have a warrior's mindset in this. Everybody is a walled garden you're laying siege to. Society has become sleepy and toxic, and no one knows how to do this. No one can do this, but you're a badass because you are doing it. You're willing to build out this skill set, which I explained in the beginning of the last video, is so important for the future we're moving towards. You need to have the mindset of, I'm doing something difficult, but I'm willing to do it. You've got to roll with the punches. Don't take things personally. Let it roll off of you. Okay? So stop, drop, and roll. Basically, stop, check your intention, review your value, drop the feelings as soon as you can so that it doesn't slow your momentum, and then roll with the punches. Just have the mindset of like, I'm persevering. I'm going on a 10-mile hike. Yeah, it's going to be hard. My feet will hurt. Maybe I'll get bitten by bugs. The weather sucks. I feel uncomfortable, but you've got to keep going on. And eventually you will get to the point where this is old news. You're going to be making videos. You're going to be helping other people out. It happens fast. I'm 3 weeks in now, 3.5 weeks in now to being in San Marcos, and I already feel so much more skilled at all of this. So hopefully valuable. See you next time. Peace.